Hey Joey. It's now January. It's been January for a minute, but I polled the audience of one. You said you did still want to see this video of my December wrap-up. So I read 19 books in December. One of them I read the physical hardcover, 6 were paperbacks, 3 were ebooks, 5 were on audio, and 4 I did like a combination of 2 or more. In December I filmed the getting down to my TBR goal video, so 8 of these I'm just gonna like rapid fire a fly through because I've already talked about them ad nauseum. But I'll just go ahead and get into it. The first book I listened to was An Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green. I am a big Green Brothers fan. As previously mentioned, I have a John Green sort of book collection, so it was kind of strange that I hadn't read this yet, but I'm not a big sci-fi person. But it was on my shelf. I wanted to get it off of my shelf, so I listened to it. I thought it was fine, which I guess doesn't really seem like a glowing review. I did like it. I gave it 4.25 stars. I like the way it was written. I am always wary when a man writes a female main character, because sometimes it can get kind of like, and I think that Hank has had the internet rip him to shreds about some of the ways in which he wrote this female character, but I just think that since sci-fi is not really my genre, it wasn't like my favorite thing ever, but I did enjoy it. I liked the audiobook. I don't feel super compelled to read the next one like ASAP, because I felt like this one completed. Like, I guess there's more we can do, and I'm sure that there is story there, and there's a little bit of like questions I have, but I'm not like jumping directly into that one because I read this at the beginning of December and now it's the beginning of January and I still haven't read the other one, but I liked it enough. 4.25. Then next I also listened to Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands. I love these books. Like, as a fan of the TV show Bones and a kind of strange lady myself who like has a man in my life who appreciates how strange I am and is strange also, I just love these books. I would do literally anything for Wendell if he asked. I can't wait for the third one, but also am gonna be sad because I think that's the last one and I don't want to not hear from Emily and Wendell anymore. But yeah, I loved this. I gave this 4.75 stars, and the audiobooks of these are really good. I listen to them on Spotify, but I think that they're everywhere you can get audiobooks, and I think everyone should read them. Unless you don't like a kind of strange main character, or you don't like kind of like it's written in a diary format, almost. And if you don't like that, then don't read it. Next, I read the paperback of Apprentice to the Villain. I like these books. Because I knew going into them, because I watched the little TikTok series, I knew going into them that they were gonna be silly. And that is exactly what I got and what I wanted. I am so interested in how the next couple of these are gonna go, because I can't wait to see what happens. But I gave this also 4.75 stars. I enjoyed it a lot. I can't wait for the new one. So I then read the arc of See It Through by Julia Wolf, which is out now, but I had gotten it as an arc. This is a small town romance. This is the first one in a new series following the Kelly family. I liked it a lot. One thing that particularly stuck out to me is that all of the people in this like series have normal nicknames for each other. Like, they are just shortening or like pieces of each other's names, because sometimes, like, I love Catherine Cowles to death, do not get me wrong, but all of her characters have like just like out of pocket nicknames, like Warrior and Lawman, and like it makes sense for the characters, but they do come kind of out of nowhere, whereas like one of the sisters' names is Phoebe and they call her Fee. Like, that is a completely normal transition into nickname territory, and I liked that about it. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that. I gave that 4.25 stars. I'm excited to read the rest of that series as it comes out. So then now we're getting into the territory of that other video that I filmed, so we're gonna pick up the pace a little bit. I read Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, gave it 4 stars. I read Kiss of Deception, gave it 4.25 stars. Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams, I gave 5 stars. Wisteria by Adeline Grace, I gave 5 stars. A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking, I gave 4 stars. The Wedding Witch, I gave 4 stars. The Thursday Murder Club, I gave 4 stars. And The Nightmare Before Christmas, I gave 4 stars. If you want to hear my thoughts on those, go to the video where I read them. I then listened to the audiobook of Snowed In by Catherine Walsh. Last year at Christmas time, I read whatever the first one is called, I'll put it up here. And I liked that a lot. It's a cute Christmas story set in Ireland. The audiobooks are great. So I got the audiobook of that on Audible, listened to it, gave it 4.25 stars. Just a great Christmas book. I then read A Quarter Frost and Starlight, which I do own, but it is currently buried because I am like violently running out of space on my shelves. So it is sitting behind my Throne of Glass books and I cannot get it out. I'm not doing it. So I read A Quarter Frost and Starlight. It's a Christmas novella. ACOTAR is not my favorite Sarah J Maas series, but I was glad to have read it because I didn't read it when I was reading the series because I was borrowing other people's copies because I hadn't owned them yet. I got them for Christmas, so I read the novella. I don't rate novellas, but I read it. I then read another Christmas novella. I read My December Darling by Lauren Asher. I like Lauren Asher. I like her Small Town series is the best. So I enjoyed this. It was good. I like read it all in one sitting, giggling, kicking my feet, and whatnot. Again, I don't read novellas, but I did like it quite a bit. Then I read The Christmas Tree Farm, which I also read basically in one sitting. I gave this 4 stars. I think I've given every book in this series 4 stars. I think that they're fun. I like this little town. The formatting of the physical book still drives me crazy. The like font is kind of weird and the quotation marks are like both going the same way, which is a dumb thing to care about, but I don't like it. But that doesn't change the fact that I liked the story. I'm excited for the Pancake House one. I just like these series. It feels like I'm watching a Hallmark movie. And sometimes that's what I want. So, you know. I then read The Secret Service of Tea and Treason by India Holton. I like these books so much. I say every time I read one though, I am not smart enough for these. There's a lot of stuff going on in here that I feel like I'm like kind of missing because I genuinely don't know what is happening because there's a lot happening. So in the first one we're following pirates, in the second one we're following witches, and then in this one they're like part of a secret society. Like I guess they're secret service. They're like part of a government agency that like protects the regular people from the witches and the pirates. And so none of these groups get along, but they all also help each other the whole time. I don't know. This one has like a kind of Booth and Brennan, but if they were both like Brennan vibes. Let me talk about Bones more. I love that show though, so I am gonna keep talking about it. Because they both have that kind of like scientific mindset. I guess it's kind of like Booth and Brennan if they were both Booth and Brennan. Like both of them had qualities of both. They kind of act like Brennan, but they have the kind of like fighting and like badassery, I guess, of Booth. I don't know. I liked it. I am excited to read. I have the Ornithologist's Field Guide to Love, and I did apply for the ARC for the Geographer's Map to Romance or whatever that one's called. I think that's what it's called. It's green. I applied for the ARC. I did get denied, but I'm still gonna buy it when it comes out and I'm gonna read it because I do like India Holton's writing. I like the kind of like whimsy. Then I read The Match, which was so good. She trains service dogs because she has a service dog for her epilepsy, and she meets this single dad whose daughter just got diagnosed with epilepsy and needs a service dog, and he's like, whoa, lady, we don't need one of those. And then he finds out that she in fact also has epilepsy, and so she can kind of like she's like kind of helping his daughter like come to terms with her diagnosis and stuff. It's so cute. I love Sarah Adams books. I gave it 5 stars. I just like them so much. So, sue me. And then the last book, number 200 of the year that I read, was All the Missing Pieces by Catherine Cowles. I don't have a physical copy of this yet because it comes out on the 7th, but I did pre-order it from my local indie bookstore because they were doing a special like dust jacket on the paperback. Oh, I can't wait. This was also 5 stars. I love it so much. This is following a true crime podcaster who got into true crime podcasting because of something that happened in her past. I don't know that we tell you that on the back of the book, so I'm just gonna say something happened, and she is in this, she goes to a new small town to cover a case, and she kind of gets into it with the sheriff because the sheriff does not want her poking around at his case, and stuff ensues. She is put in mortal danger more than once. I love them. I love every Catherine Cowles book, but I really loved this one. I'm a true crime girly. It was like this book was like for me. Romantic suspense, true crime podcasting. Love it. Loved it so much. Can't wait to get it in my grimy little hands. So those are all 19 books I read in December. I did get to my goal of 200 for the year, which is crazy. Kind of makes me want to like throw up a little bit. But I guess I'm going to put some end of year stats at the end of this video because I think I'm going to make another one. So I read 200 books, which is 75,501 pages. And approximately, like big asterisk, approximately 1,482,925 pages. Who knows? 636 hours, 54 minutes, and 11 seconds of audiobooks. And those are that's the full length of the audiobook of any book that I audiobooked, even partially. So again, kind of. And it took me an average of 3.7 days to finish a book. I have a tendency to finish books in 1 to 2 days. An average rating of 4.35 stars. The month I read the most in was September. I read 25 in September, which is crazy. So, of the 200 books I read, 50 I read the physical paperback, 65 I read on ebook, 45 I read on audiobook, 16 I read the physical hardcover, and then 24 I read in 2 or more formats. So I'd say a pretty even split. I don't know if that's true or not. Like 50% of the books that I read are interconnected standalones, because I do be reading a lot of romance. Like 75% are adult, probably 20% young adult, and then like 5% what I call new adult. I read like 25% of those books via the library. Most of those are audiobooks. I listen to a lot of audiobooks through the library, but I feel like that, like, given the size of my personal collection, reading 25% from the library is pretty good. I feel good about that. You want to know an upsetting stat? I started the year with 91 books on my physical TBR. I ended the year with 149 books on my physical TBR. I read a lot of books off my physical TBR, but I bought more than I read. So we'll be working on that next year. I have some fun sort of themed reading vlogs coming up for this next year, so keep a lookout for those. If you're not Joey and you're not subscribed, feel free to do so. I post at will.